Another useful application of the dynamic paint effect is stacking items one on top of the other. It's ideal for snow, for example. Let's see how we can do this. As with any dynamic paint, we'll need a source, in this case a brush, and a canvas to paint on. The brush in our case has to be the snow, and the canvas, the ground where the snow must fall. So I'm going to make a particle emitter and multiply the number of particles. They have to seem real snowflakes. Set the normal velocity to 0 and increase the Brownian force. The snowflakes move in a somewhat chaotic manner as a result of this. Also, increase the damping force slightly. Finally, add a simple icosphere and make it the particle system's render object. Obviously, the scale must be adjusted. Now we want to use this particle system as a brush. Open the physics properties and select dynamic paint as the effect. Then select brush. Select the particle system you just created as a source. We also need to change the color of the paint to white. Now we need to add a canvas, to which the brush will act. I chose the surfaces on which I want the snow to fall in this scene. For example, I left out the fountain's vertical walls. This mesh has 3 functions. It has to be a snow particle collision object. It must be white painted. Finally, it must increase in volume where the snowflakes collide with the mesh. I'm going to make a new plane to better demonstrate this. Subdivide it several times. Select the collision property from the Physics Properties menu. I'm going to increase the stickiness, damping, and friction properties. As a result, the particles remain attached to the surface. We must now add the canvas effect. The first effect we want is for the snow to paint the surface white. As a result, the surface type must be paint. However, nothing happens when you start the animation. This is because the brush only paints the vertex color, not the mesh itself. So, let's add a new vertex color attribute in the Object Data Properties section and select it in the Paint Map Layer option. To see the vertex color, go to the Shading Attributes and select Vertex Color Mode. This also demonstrates the importance of the mesh resolution. The higher the resolution, the more detailed the paint and the displacement, as we'll see in a moment. This vertex color will be used as a mask for the material. We'll need to add another canvas, this time in displacement mode. In addition, we must check the incremental property and enter a negative value in the displace factor. This is precisely what we desire. When snow falls on the mesh, the vertices become white and are displaced upwards. As a final step, we must create the material. Essentially, we must combine 2 materials, the mesh material itself, as well as the snow. In addition, the materials must be mixed with the vertex color mask. I'm going to add 2 principled shaders. To keep things simple, go with brown and white. We must now combine the 2 shaders by using the vertex color attribute as a mask. This is also what I did for the ground and the fountain. In this case, I simply used a more realistic snow material.